We're back. My lips are moisturized. I'm not melting in the car, so all is well. All is right with the world. This is chapter 17. All things are possible. It is of great significance that the truth of the principles outlined in this book have been proven time and again by the personal experiences of the author. Throughout the past 25 years, he has applied these principles and proved them successful in innumerable instances. He attributes to an unwavering assumption of his wish already being fulfilled every success that he has achieved. He was confident that by these fixed assumptions, his desires were predestined to be fulfilled. Time and again, he assumed the feeling of his wish fulfilled and continued in his assumption until that which he desired was completely realized. Live your life in a sublime spirit of confidence and determination. Disregard appearances, conditions, in fact, all evidence of your senses that deny the fulfillment of your desire. Rest in the assumption that you are already what you want to be, for in that determined assumption, you and your infinite being are merged into creative unity, and with your infinite being, God, all things are possible. God never fails, for who can stay his hand or say unto him, "What doest thou?" Through the mastery of your assumptions, you are in very truth enabled to master life. It is thus that the ladder of life is ascended, thus the ideal is realized. The clue to the real purpose of life is to surrender yourself to your ideal with such awareness of its reality that you begin to live the life of the ideal and no longer your own life as it was prior to this surrender. He calleth things that are not seen as though they were, and the unseen becomes seen. Each assumption has its corresponding world. If you are truly observant, you will notice the power of your assumptions to change circumstances which appear wholly immutable. You, by your conscious assumptions, determine the nature of the world in which you live. Ignore the present state and assume the wish fulfilled. Claim it. It will respond. The law of assumption is the means by which the fulfillment of your desires may be realized. Every moment of your life, consciously or unconsciously, you are assuming a feeling. You can no more avoid assuming a feeling than you can avoid eating and drinking. All you can do is control the nature of your assumption. Thus it is clearly seen that the control of your assumption is the key you now hold to an ever-expanding, happier, more noble life. We make tons of choices every day, whether we're aware of the choices we make or we're just acting and reacting automatically on autopilot. Every thought, every feeling, every choice is what creates what you experience, obviously. And so that's why it's important to be conscious of the choices that you're making, be aware of what you're feeling so that you're always choosing to feel a higher vibration. You're thinking in a higher vibration so that you're making the right choices and you're aligning with the person that you want to be. You're aligning with the vibration of having the things that you want to have. So this chapter is your ability to assume that feeling of what you want to be, what you want to have, of having it, assuming the feeling of having it already. That's the key to changing your own life. Everything that you want, having what you want, mostly depends on your ability to assume it to be true for you, to assume the feeling that you have it now and living by that assumption. And I know people wonder too, he wrote a chapter about this where people wonder what to do in that time between assuming the feeling of, how long does it take between assuming the feeling and then actually receiving what it is that you're after or actually changing. And if you remember back to the first chapter, I think it was, there's no gap in consciousness. So in that time that you believe that you are what you want to be or that you have what you want to have, there's no gap in that thinking. When you are when you are in the state of having what you want and being who you want, it's not separate from you. All you need to do is hold that feeling, because the actual manifestation of it, the physical thing itself or whatever it is, that part takes time. The events have to be created so that you can get to that thing. But as far as being a different person, that's just a feeling that you hold, and that makes you see the world in a different way because you have a different feeling. You've got a different lens on. You're thinking a different way. So that answers the question of what to do in between. There is no in between. There's no waiting for what it is that you want. You have to hold that feeling of having it, of being it. In your mind, you have it already, so there's nothing to wait for. It's different to be in a state of wanting something, right? Because then you're just attracting more of wanting it. You're not being in a place of, I have it already, and I'm not worried about it, I'm not thinking about it, it's already something that I have. Or being in a state of knowing that it's going to come. You're in that knowing that it's going to come. You're not waiting for it to come. You know that it's going to happen. You know that it is happening. So it's just assuming it fully, being in the full spirit of who you want to be and what you want to have. Having it, knowing that it's coming, knowing that you are it, and just disregarding everything around you, anyone around you who doesn't, who denies to you that you aren't who you want to be or that you don't have what you want to have. Because those things outside of you, they're still parts of your old thinking, right? So these things that show up in the people that tell you that you aren't this or that you can't be or you can't have these things or whatever, that's part of your old thinking. Those things are going to change when you hold the assumption that you are who you want to be. That, and you probably just won't even notice those things anymore when you are in a different state, when you're thinking from a different mindset. You're thinking from a different feeling. You're going to make different choices. It's going to put you in different places. It's going to put different things before you to choose from. So things change when you fully assume that you are in the knowing, or that you are having what you want to have or being who you want to be. Things do change, and there's no waiting. There's only being. There's only knowing. So that the longer you hold that, the more, the closer it gets to you, the more events are being created that will experience it to you. That's chapter 17. All things are possible. Feeling is the secret. Feeling it to be true. Assuming it to be true. That's the secret. And I'll be back for chapter 18. Bye.